I do what I do.
2025. Okay? Raised in a culture, sometimes subtly, sometimes explicitly, and told him this country belongs to him. And I'm not talking about all white men. I'm not talking about all of y'all. Shout out to all the white dudes who listening, who like, I don't give a crap about none of that. Shout out to all you cats. You know what I'm saying? All the white men who are, white men, young white boys, whoever, checking me out. We can connect on, some man-to-man sort of qualities. I'm just trying to help people understand where some white folks are coming from, some white men are coming from. You understand? The one that listens to those ones that listen to Andrew Tate. You understand me? That he is their what is it called? He's their rage avatar. Shout out to House Martin. You understand? Listen to me now. All right. He's supposed to be the natural leader. You understand? In his mind, he's a rightful heir. He's the center of gravity. And yet, when he looks around today, he doesn't see that reflect back. What he sees instead in his mind is a country slipping away. He watches black athletes dominate nearly every major sport, from the NFL to the NBA, track, tennis, combat sports. The faces of champions are no longer look like. They don't look like him. He sees Asian Americans climbing to the top of academia and technology, outperforming him on test scores, snagging spots in elite universities and leading billion-dollar tech firm. He's watching Arabs and Muslim Americans growing in political influence, running for office, forming coalitions, asserting cultural pride unapologetically and refusing to be invisible. He sees Latino folk, Latino men and women, not just in fields or kitchens, but as construction and men and foremen and police officers and firefighters and nurses and city councilmen. To him, they're everywhere, doing the jobs he thought were reserved for real Americans. He feels surrounded, outpaced, and replaced. And yet, here's the paradox. He's not actually losing power. White Americans still hold 85% of the Fortune 500 CEO positions. They make up 73% of the U.S. Congress. They control almost 90% of all of the U.S. household and wealth. They dominate leadership in courts, police forces, school boards, and media outlets. They own and operate the largest land holdings in the most lucrative corporations and the most influential think tanks. In every measurable way, white Americans, particularly white men, still control the machinery of America. But it's not about what's true. It's about what they believe. And what they believe, what they feel is that they're losing their country. They feel like the world no longer revolves around them. They feel mocked. They feel ignored. They feel emasculated. And perhaps most threatening of all, they feel outcompeted. And in a society that never taught them how to share power, or that they had to, or to exist without being on top, that perception becomes fuel for rage. You understand me? Shout out to my man, Hoss Martin. Thank you for being the first person to contribute to Super Chat. We're looking out. Now look here. So the rage we're talking about tonight manifests itself in many forms, but one of the most insidious, most protected, and most deadly is white male violence, particularly using pew-pews. Okay, time again, when the world begins to change, when marginalized communities begin to rise, when power begins to shift, white male rage doesn't just simmer, it erupts. Okay, and it often comes with pew-pew violence in hand and a body count left behind. Let's look at the pattern. Charlotte, 2017. A bunch of white dudes get together with tiki torches. They marched in unison, chanting, "You will not replace us." That wasn't a protest. It was a declaration of war against America. What about this guy in Las Vegas? Stephen Paddock. You guys know who that is? You guys know who Stephen Paddock? I think I have some video footage on this. Let me see if I can get this video footage up for you guys so you guys can remember who this cat was. Stephen Paddock. Let me see if I can find this video for you guys. This is the guy you hardly ever hear about it. Okay? Barely ever is ever mentioned. All right? But this is the guy who, let me see if I can get this up. Listen to this, fair use. Those are gunshots. You understand? Listen to this, man.
I could see everybody.
That's the Mandalay Bay.
I could see my own body laying down there. The thing I know was that my dad and my two brothers and my uncle, and it was so beautiful. It was your time. So next thing I woke up, I was on a gate that they put me on that dragged me to
the backstory on this situation. There was a gentleman named, and I'm gonna say gentleman, and I use that term, monster named Stephen Maddock or Stephen Paddock. Okay, and this guy, let me get this off. Let me see if I can get this off real quick. So this guy here, he's 64-year-old white man with no criminal record, no known ideology, opens fire from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel at a harvest festival. Okay. In 10 minutes, he unalived 60 people. He injured 850 people. You hear me? 850. This man shot at least over 400 of them. What received a pew pew. You understand me? This was the deadliest mass pew pewing by one person in U.S. history. He did more damage in 10 minutes than a battalion of military men. There's no motive that was ever discussed. There's no manifesto. There's no video. There's no demand, just silence and devastation. Then he unalived himself afterwards. I knew at that point, based on history and based on what had been building up since that time period, because remember, you got to understand, some white folks been mad since Barack Obama got elected president. Okay, remember they came up with the Tea Party Republicans. That was a tantrum, right? But George Bush had done so bad that they said, well, let's get a black dude. But some people didn't like that. That seemed like a loss of power to some folk. You understand? And so it had been building. By the time we got to 2017, old buddy is letting off this rage. What about in El Paso in 2019? You had a white gunman walk into a Walmart and unalive 23 people targeting Latinos. Okay, his so-called mission was to stop the Hispanic invasion of Texas. He posted a manifesto echoing these far-right replacement theory before pulling the pew-pew. In Buffalo, New York, you had a little white teenager. He demanded that he drove hours to a black neighborhood and gunned down 10 black people in a supermarket. Again, citing this replacement theory. You had another white man in 2021, unalived 8 people, most of them Asian women at a spa. You see, his response was, sexual temptation. You understand me? He was attracted to these Asian women, and that was somehow his fault in his sick, twisted, perverted mind. But what that does is it reveals the intersection between racism, misogyny, and entitlement. You understand me? And see, this isn't a coincidence. It's a pattern. It's a reaction. It's a cycle. And whether you like it or not, when you look at, I don't care what your political affiliation is. That Capitol insurrection back in 2021, when white folk didn't get their way and Donald Trump lost, right? That was another temper tantrum. It was a riot. It was a rebellion. You can call it what you want to. Nevertheless, this is a pattern. It's a reaction. It's a cycle. And what makes it even more disturbing is how frequently it is excused and minimized and pathologized. They will tell, oh, he just must have had some mental issues. At a certain point, these are not mental issues. These are a pattern. Okay? When the shooter is white, we ask about mental health. We dig into the childhood trauma. This dude, Stephen Patterson, he's got a Wikipedia page. Oh, he was on medication. He was depressed. He didn't have his father. He was raised by a single mother. You know what I'm saying? We wonder if he just snapped. This can't be normal. He was a millionaire. Oh, but when it's a black shooter, when it's a brown shooter, right? When it's a Muslim or immigrant, there's no waiting. The motive is presumed. The threat is named. He's labeled something bad. Black father, I have black son.
Tune in, weekly feeling inspired. From the heart, real talking night. Every episode brings a light. Subscribe, hit the like, won't you dare. Share the love, you know it's family. Join us every week, don't be late. Drop some coins in the collection plate. Drop some coins, enjoy the ride. Come say hi, catch the wave, don't pass by. Lifted spirits always in sight. In this podcast, joy takes flight. Subscribe, hit the like, won't you dare. Share the love, you know it's fair. Join us every week, don't be late. Drop some coins in the collection plate. Drop some coins.
Donation. I thought it was a trap.
Hey man, I'll do what I do. You know that.
Your ass, class, don't come over here. Now, what? You tall black women up inside. I don't give a fuck about